She's a doctor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dovek, and she's a dietitian.
Hey, I'm Hannah Schuyler, and together we are
The Doctor-Dietitian Collab.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome back, everyone, and welcome back to you.
Thank you.
How were your travels?
Oh my gosh, my honeymoon was awesome. We had so much fun. Yeah, we saw we really kind of leaned into the tourist thing. We were in Rome. So for the whole week, we just stayed in one hotel, made it super simple. And we did the Colosseum, we did Vatican City, we did a pasta cooking class. It was just so much fun.
Wow. So what was your favorite part?
We actually really liked St. Peter's Basilica just because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And our cooking class was super fun.
It looked so cute.
Yeah. It was in these people's apartment.
Oh.
There were only 6 people in the class. So
Whoa.
It was really intimate. And my husband, who does not cook, he whipped egg whites to stiff peaks. I was very impressed.
Oh my gosh.
That's not an easy task. So
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. And speaking of, this episode is, of course, about travel. And, going to Europe, going to Italy, how much travel was that?
it was a decent amount. So we flew from Orlando to Atlanta, which is an hour-long flight. And of course, at first, they'd put us in 2 middle seats.
Ooh.
And I'm trying to remember now if that's what we ended up sitting to
How
Atlanta.
many across were there?
3. It was just a regular plane.
Oh,
we were
okay.
way in the back. But I think they were able to get us a different seat. Or that day I was able to switch them. So
Okay.
at least we were together. And then we were in the very middle of the plane from Atlanta to Rome in a 4-person,
Ooh.
which it's tight.
Yeah.
And yeah, my husband wore jeans on the plane and really regretted that decision. It's I'm of course in leggings, which is what I will always wear when I fly. Leggings with side pockets is
Oh, those are
the
my favorites.
best. Yeah, so it was a lot, and it's overnight, and it's you try to sleep, and I did sleep some, but
Ooh, yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's what we're here to talk about today is about traveling and the comfort of traveling. And I mean, even if you're sprawled out and laying down, I don't know, it's still just exhausting and all of that. And the seats, I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, it is. And I want to acknowledge as we go through this that we have never experienced obesity. We are not bariatric patients. And so we're kind of looking at this from our lens, but trying to recognize the challenges that people who do face obesity face when they're traveling.
Yeah, let's talk. We're on the airline travel. And, I have a lot of patients who the reason why they want to have surgery is because they want to go places, they want to do things, they want to go to Europe, but there's just no way that they're going to sit in a coach seat or in the back in a regular seat and be able to do it.
No, and as somebody who now works in this field, and you start to notice more things in
Yes.
your day-to-day, wow, okay, that isn't accommodating to these people. And so I did notice as I was getting up to use the bathroom or, even passing by somebody in the aisle, that is not designed for people, and honestly not designed for people who are more than small, and so it's tight.
And then some of you know, some of you don't know, I'm almost 6 foot tall. And so I just was in Vegas, and when I was flying there, and I was on Frontier, smashed in the back. And my gosh, I mean, it's just so painful.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. And then you want to get up and you want to walk around and all of that. But let's talk about the dreaded seatbelt.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously you need to get your seatbelt to fasten, and they check on that, and they want to make sure that you're good to go. But with that, sometimes you have to ask for a seatbelt extender. And, that is something that a lot of our patients have talked about when we were at the bariatric retreat. One of the things that we heard was that some patients will actually buy their own seatbelt extender so they don't have to ask for it.
Yeah, which I totally understand. And, I think if that's what you feel comfortable doing, of course, I don't think you're technically supposed to buy them.
Oh, whoops.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a pilot. But I also would say, there's no shame in asking for an accommodation.
Yeah.
And I think that it's one of those things that it can be embarrassing to ask for something like that, but it's your safety at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And
I know.
And so it's important to have, I think we feel like, oh, have your seatbelt buckled. Yeah. Until there's turbulence or something happens to the plane, you want to be buckled in.
No, for sure. I mean, obviously you need to be. Mm-hmm. And then there's also so you finally get in there, you get the seatbelt extender, you ask for the accommodations, you're comfortable. But then there's also the side arm rail that comes down. And if you're a person that's, struggling with their weight and what happens to the way you feel, like if you're kind of almost spilling into the other seat, and how I think that is really, I think that the mental aspect of it from like, I think people need to realize out there that you're so worried about being judged almost, and you're just so in your head about it. Like, oh my gosh, I just want to disappear. I just want to shrink. And I think a lot of people, I hope, would get it. I mean, like you said, we do this. I get it. I don't know. I think I always just want to like, oh, it's all good. It's okay.
Right. Just give you that reassurance that it's okay. You're allowed to take up space.
I know.
You're a human. We're all human. Like, you're allowed to take up space, but it can definitely be uncomfortable.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's something that you have to really just deal with and go for. And I also know that a lot of patients that I would see, but mainly before I lived in Florida, this is a prime example. The reason why I'd say, so why are you here? Why do you want weight loss surgery? It was because of Disney World, and it was because not so much even about not fitting on the rides or having a challenge walking around the parks, but it was the flight to Disney World. The minute they got off the plane, I have heard countless times that people were like, that's it. That was the breaking point. That 2-3 hour plane ride from Baltimore down to Florida was enough to be like, okay, that was my wake-up call, was an airplane flight.
Yeah.
And so that's just something, we have to really think about. And then with planes and all of that, you went to Italy. There's also jet lag and sleep. Were you able to like rest at all on this plane?
I was, like I said, they do hand out the little eye masks. So I put that on, and then I had like a blanket scarf thing that I had wrapped around me. And so I did sleep some. And it is overnight. Those flights tend to be that red eye kind of. So I think our plane took off in Atlanta at like 9 p.m. or something, and we got there at like 11 o'clock Rome time.
Wow.
And I surprisingly did okay with jet lag. Like we didn't really like sleep when we got there. We kind of
powered through.
We rested a little bit, but we didn't like take like a 2 or 3 hour nap.
Yeah.
Which that can really mess you up, I think. Yeah. And so we went out, walked from our hotel, we got dinner, we walked to like Trevi Fountain, and things like that at night, and then went to sleep. And to me, it kind of just reset my thing. I was pretty much okay. My husband was a little bit more tired, and by like the 5th day, we spent one day just hanging out.
Oh.
We didn't go until we did that was the night of our pasta class. So we we went down, got breakfast at the hotel, and then went back upstairs pretty much.
Yeah.
And hung out because he was like, I'm just really tired, and we had been walking and doing all this activity and stuff. So it was just like tiresome. Now, I will say, coming back, I think the jet lag actually kind of helped get us, at least for a period of time, back onto like a better sleep schedule. Because we were so tired in the evening. Like early, it was like 8 or 9. We were like hitting a wall, and it was like, okay, well, let's just go to bed then. And then we can get up early in the morning. And so it's kind of like, this might work to our advantage. It has since slipped, and we've started staying up.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I mean, that's the thing about sleep. Sleep does so many things for you. We're going to have a whole sleep episode in the near future about the importance of sleep. But I have to ask, when you're sleep deprived and you're all off schedule, did you get sick?
I didn't, but I was sick the week before. So I don't know if I just already had a virus, and so I didn't get sick again.
Well, that's good, though.
I know.
I'd much rather bring it on.
I usually do get sick when I travel. Like, it's very common, and it's I don't know. It's kind of hard because like all of the supplements I did buy, like, because he got sick first, so I bought like zinc. I got the like vitamin C things, and I know those are like not really legit. But I was like, I will throw anything at this. Yeah, exactly. It's not going to hurt me. No. So I tried it. It didn't help.
Well,
I felt pretty crappy.
I know. Well, I'm going to Australia here soon, as you know. And so talking about travel and just like how do you prepare for travel? And I think that's a really good thing, like talking to our dietitian here about snacks on a plane. I mean, I cannot stand the fact that all you get is like a gnarly little bag of pretzels. And now, like, I mean, I was flying Frontier and Spirit, not to go down on a tangent of these different airlines and their policies, but there's nothing. You could buy purchase here. Nothing's for free anymore. You could purchase one of these like little snack boxes that had like Cheetos and like crackers. It's like just random, junk.
There's usually not much like great in the snack department, I would say that. And we knew that since we were going to be traveling a lot, my husband is a hungry person and he get a hangry person.
Oh boy.
And so I was like, we're buying snacks. So like when I went to the grocery store, I went to like BJ's and got a big box of protein bars.
Okay.
And then I got like the Parmesan Wisp crispy things. And then we got like meat sticks.
Perfect.
Like little shorties. And then a couple of like sweet snacks. Like I got like Rice Krispie treats because I was like, this is like a fun little thing. And honestly though, because we were flying internationally, they do feed you a decent amount.
Yeah, so what a little bit different. The food like?
We had like ravioli.
Oh wow!
On the way there with like a little, I don't remember what it had on some little side with it, and a little dessert, and then I'm trying to remember if they gave like a little breakfast or something.
Don't you feel like on airplanes that little ravioli thing never tasted so good in your life?
It was. I know. We were both like, this is great because it was that or like they were just like pasta or chicken, and I was like, chicken probably would have been like the right choice, like from a nutrition perspective, but I was like, just airplane chicken just doesn't sound appetizing. I'm picturing dry chicken breast.
I'm telling you what, I don't know what maybe because you're just like, where's mine, and you're like, you just feel so fancy or something. I know.
And they bring out it had like a little like napkin that you got to lay out like on your tray. It's like
fine dining in the friendly skies here.
So they did have like a frequent amount of snacks, but if you're somebody who is like, especially on a low carb, I would definitely prepare and bring things ahead. And even doing something like bringing either like a protein powder or knowing, and don't check this for yourself, but I'm pretty sure you can get an accommodation to bring protein shakes through security. They just check them, like they have to examine them, just like they would with like baby formula or breast milk.
Oh, wow.
Because it's like if you have like medical reason, you can
I wonder if you need to have like a, like when we have these little cards that if you go to a restaurant, it says, you can offer them a discount if it's a buffet or a smaller portion.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have some. I mean, I wonder
like
if they
need a medical necessity card or something.
I need to know because I need to make sure I make them for my patients.
Right. Because I've heard for cruises too, that's another place like that people have been able to do that.
Okay, well here it is, guys. Like, get some tips so that you can bring your stash. So I like those things. So protein bars. What kind is your favorite, or you just buy whatever?
I think it was pure protein.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. It was on the aisle at BJ's, and it was like
BJ's.
Decently low carb, but it wasn't like zero. I was like, I don't want to be. Again, I'm feeding people that are hungry.
Yeah. Got it. So I like that. I mean, everything you had is pretty protein packed, Rice Krispies, whatever. But I mean, that's good. So step one, be prepared. Think about your preferences. If you really you need the shakes, then you could get
call the airline or look on TSA's website and see.
We need to look that up.
Yeah.
We'll put that out there for you guys, and then we'll offer up a little.
Or if somebody's had success with it.
Yeah, send
us a message.
DM us, DoctorXDietitian. We'll answer. We check those all the time. All right, so you're prepared. You're on the flight. You slept a little bit. You got right back to being set on the right time. You rested when you needed to. You had your snacks when you needed to. It sounds like it was an out-and-out, just fabulous experience, the whole thing.
It was.
So that was his first time in Italy. Did he like it?
Oh, yeah. He loved it. It's so funny. Like when we did the Colosseum day, we took like the metro there. And you get off at the Colosseo stop, and you like walk out, and it's right there. Like you just walk out to the Colosseum, and he was just like, whoa, like not just fully not expecting that, which was really, it was just like, yeah, this place is crazy. Like we walked to the metro and you just pass by all these ruins. Like
Wow.
the ruins where Julius Caesar was killed is now a cat sanctuary.
Oh,
like
boy.
all these cats
Sounds
live
where you
there.
belong.
We went and visited.
I'm sure
It was
you
very
did.
Cute.
Wow. Just absolutely phenomenal. That's crazy. So we're just to close the loop on this airplane thing. I actually think one aspect of flying that's even worse than trying to fit into the seat, being cramped into the seatbelt extender, all of those considerations, the tray hitting up against your abdomen, the whole thing, is the bathroom situation.
Yes.
How was that?
Oof. The one on the way there it was like the floor was wet. And I'm like, why? I kind of wish there was men's and women's.
Oh, so you think it was a man peeing on the floor?
I always assume it's a man peeing on the floor. No, it was probably somebody sloshed water out of the sink and it was wet. I did see somebody go in with socks. Like they were getting ready to go to the bathroom and I was like, don't go in there with socks because now you're going to have wet socks. Like, ooh, imagine.
Oh, wow.
I can't
What a visual, guys, right here.
Sorry. If I had to experience it, you do too.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, well, that and like if you're in the middle seat or you're in a window seat, having to get people, and it's the middle of the night, like people are sleeping. And so I tried to time it when the woman next to me would get up. I would go to the bathroom too.
That's kind.
Because I was just like, I could go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then on the way back, it was just the two of us in a window aisle.
Oh, nice.
So I was in the aisle. It was great. I could just get up and go down.
Oh, that's so good. And then just being in the bathroom and trying to like maneuver your body in there.
It's so small.
It's so small.
I feel like they've gotten smaller.
I think so. How is that happening?
I do know the airlines have like added more seats.
Oh, that's the truth.
But can't imagine they went and retrofitted the bathroom to get an extra like 6 inches. But yeah.
It is so hard to turn around in there. Any tips or thoughts on how to make all of these tight spaces any physically more comfortable? We talked about like maybe getting some like black market seatbelt extenders, but
to me, I feel like like being comfortable in the clothing you're wearing is really helpful.
Great point. Mm-hmm.
Because if you are, like I said, I like to wear leggings, but you may want to wear something that's looser, kind of easier to get on and off in the bathroom.
That's a great point.
Tight leggings sometimes can be kind of tricky to pull all the way up. It's tough though. Drying off, like even like wiping down the counter because sometimes it's wet, so you're not like accidentally getting your clothing wet or like putting your hand in something that you're not sure what it is. Like just that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just and know that. I think just knowing if you're in there, like, I can't move in here, I'm so close. Like, we all feel that way. Yeah. Everybody feels that way.
And it's temporary. Like, the plane's going to land, and then you're going to get off.
And sometimes it feels like it's not, but it will.
Yeah.
It'll get there eventually. Mm-hmm. And then when you finally get there, now you're in Europe, home of the tiniest cars on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, they're so small. I'm trying to think if we rode in any cars. I don't think we did the whole time. We didn't take any Ubers.
Really? So much walking.
So much walking, and then we would do the buses and the metro. So,
and speaking of cars, even in the U.S., I know that some patients, that's the reason they want surgery. They actually can't drive because they just don't have enough room to fit behind the steering wheel. And I think, I do think that is, something to think about, putting the car seat all the way back as far as you can, reclining it as maximally as you can, moving the steering wheel towards you so that you can fit. But if you're tall or short, it's, I think there's just a lot of considerations for everything. Mm-hmm. And then there's the aspect of travel of you want to look good. You're taking pictures. You're a tourist and all of that, and like how you pack and then how you haul your stuff around with you. So did you check a bag or did you just take a small?
We did one wheelie carry-on. And then we each have backpacks that are almost this, like, they're not like hiking backpacks, but they're really big travel backpacks.
Whoa.
But they fit under the seat. So, like, because we fly a lot of, like, Frontier, Spirit. And so on those ones, if you don't pay for a bag, you only get, like, the underseat ones.
Oh.
These, like, perfectly fit in there. So they hold a lot of stuff. But I was, like, I had all these sweaters. It was cold. Like, it was in the, like, 40s and 50s when we were there. So like I had sweaters, I had like layer kind of things. And so it was all really bulky.
Boy, that's another unbelievable endeavor that you're able to fit it into that. I mean, I'm like the one hobbling down these cobblestone streets with a this bag that could
like
fit
a massive
child in it.
I can only imagine.
I don't even know what I bring. I just don't know what I want. That's my problem with packing.
Yeah.
You have to be really prepared.
I was really prepared this time, and I like laid out. I like done laundry, and I pulled clothes out. You know, because also it's in Florida, so I wasn't like needing my sweaters and stuff at the time. So I was like, great. And I like laid them all out on our guest bed and like was like, okay, here's a day, here's a day, here's a day. Like I know what I fly in. I actually like washed a pair of leggings in the hotel, just like rinsed them out and hung them to dry so I could wear them on the way back. And like the sweater thing I wore was just like,
I'm impressed by you. My gosh.
You know, sometimes you think it through.
I know. And then,
but they're like my favorite comfy leggings. So I was like, I need these to fly back in, but I just traveled like 16 hours in them. I can't wear them twice.
Do I want to put these bad boys back on?
No.
I don't think so.
So they got a nice little shower.
Wow, I'm impressed by that. Well, we have a friend, and if anybody wants to follow her adventures, it's called Joanie, Jonie Travels, Joanie Travels on Instagram, and it's a public thing. And she decided that she wanted to just live her best life in Asia for 3 months.
I know.
And she's backpacking across it, and she fit she's going to buy some things, leave some things. She has all this strategy, but she's doing this across Asia with one of those systems where you can put it in the backpack, but you put it all in those like you can like kind of like
packing cube or like the suction bag kind of thing.
That she actually has like a thing that like sucks all the air out of it, and then it makes it like like when you use to
like
freeze
the compression
meat.
bag kind of thing.
And so anyway, she puts her stuff in that as well.
Oh, okay.
And we had an au pair that is a young girl who would live with us to help take care of our kids, and she came from Austria, and she would come with like, wait, you're moving in with me for over a year, and you're literally bringing a bag.
Yeah.
And then that thing was like one of those little like cars where like a million people like
clown car.
Yeah, like a clown car like of like things coming out of this bag, and she's like, oh, I got you all gifts, and she would get us like glasses and like bottles and like big things. I'm like, why would you even waste up like half of your space was with like big ticket items for me as a gift. What about your clothes? Yeah, she would like suction it all down.
Maybe we just need to educate you on
maybe am I the problem
better?
here? Oh my gosh.
It's you. You're the problem.
I mean, and I think a lot of people think this way, and we've talked about this before, but it is like, all right, what am I going to wear? What's my mood going to be? What is everybody else going to wear? And I think that sometimes when you're in between weights, if you're like on the weight loss journey and you've lost weight and now you are like, are you between like a 10 and a 12? Like, and things aren't fitting quite right, and you might lose 5 pounds overnight because that's just how crazy it is. Or, I mean, getting dressed is hard.
Yeah.
And I can see why travel is something that is challenging, but I think obviously from your experiences and seeing it, I think it's so worth it, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I think, and I think that you should, to me, I think it's worthwhile to do at any point in your journey. Again, I don't think you need to. There might be limitations that you have. You might not be able to do depending. Maybe you have some physical disability or you have some other thing that's preventing you that might get better with weight loss. But don't be afraid to go and take up space either, because you deserve to go and travel if you want to do it.
Definitely. At all aspects of your journey, wherever you are, before, during, after surgery, what have you. And actually, I thought about quite a few very specific patients a lot of times. And I was just in Vegas last weekend. I know I'm living my best life here. And I did the zip line down Fremont Street. So that's old Vegas, and they have like the covered screen that has like all these lights that play on it, and then you could go up and zip line.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there's 2 different ways you can do it. One is you're sitting on your butt and then you go across that way, but that's like a short one. Or you could do it as much longer, all the way across multiple like intersections and streets. But that one you have to lay on your stomach, and they harness you in, and you have to go head first, Superman style.
Is that the one you did?
That's what I had to do. That's what my friend signed me up for. And so in this moment, I was anxious for other reasons we will not discuss. And I had gotten out of the taxi cab, and this is a long story, but anyway, somehow between that, getting out of the cab and going to the entry of this thing, I realized I lost my driver's license.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, no. So when you texted me, I had just found out I lost my driver's license, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
So I was just like, when you were like, how are you? And I'm like, horrible. You're like, God, she's dramatic. But
Yeah.
I was horrible for many reasons. And I'm like, huh. So then it was like, all right. I'm like, wait. And I look up and I'm like, we're riding this thing right now. And they're like, I'm like, well, I'm riding it on my butt. So that'll be fine. They're like, no, we signed you up you have to ride it the Superman style. So I was just like, in this moment, I was just like panicked. And the reason I bring this up is because there is a weight limit. And I've had patients who have told me like their biggest dream, this couple, you guys know who you are, this couple that they were like, we want to ride this thing. And so anyway, they take you up really, really high, obviously.
Yeah.
Multiple stories. You're in this like little cage. The cage opens and then you're just standing there. And then you lay down on, face first on a mattress. And and then they like hook. And then the mattress falls down. So you're just like suspended in the air, waiting for this thing to shoot out 35 miles an hour across this Fremont Street super high up. And I was like, I might lose bodily function control. Like I just felt so terrified.
Oh, surely plenty of people have been peed on.
Oh, I'm sure.
On the street below that
it's
thing.
Frightening.
Yeah.
And it's so fast that your eyes, you'll have these tears and your eyes are like drying up. I was thinking about you because I can just see you being like, wee.
Well, I worked at a zip line in St. Augustine.
Oh my gosh.
That goes over. So there's the alligator farm in St. Augustine, which is like a zoo.
Oh, wow.
And there's like a ropes course that goes over it. So I worked there for a few months. I basically just stood and watched people do the course. But I had to go up and do it. And like the coolest one was we did a nighttime one, which was really fun because it was night.
Yeah.
But yeah. And the camp I worked at had a zip line, and I was on like the team that did that like ropes tower kind of thing.
So you're like, oh.
I would do it.
I know you.
I did
do anything.
In Vegas, I did the like roller coasters that are at the top of one of the hotels.
Oh.
Not really like roller coasters, but
Like one of those
like,
dropping ones?
They're like almost like carnival rides.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Like you swoop around. I don't remember.
I wonder it was New York or Circus.
It was, no, I don't remember. It'll come to me, but
wow.
It was cool. Stratosphere.
Oh, yeah. I used to always stay there.
Yeah.
It was like $29 a night back in the day.
I think, I want to say we stayed there for one night because like we got in early, and so then we rode the rides.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, Vegas is a fun time, and I hope if you want to zip line across it head first, I hope that you can achieve that non-scale victory.
Did that couple do it?
Yes, they did. And so with that, they can take your pictures. You can wear a GoPro, and they got like the deluxe package, and they sent me those pictures.
Aww.
Oh my gosh! I hope that they listen to this. I still talk to the wife here and there. I'll tell her to listen to this episode. But anyway, it was. I thought about them the whole time, and I just thought I do like we've already said today on this podcast. I think so much about life through the eyes of my patients. I am so like. It's not something that goes unnoticed. And I do think that people who don't struggle with their weight, they might not think of. And it's just, I don't know. It's a shame a little bit, but hopefully we're educating people. People are listening to this and they're like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And we want to help too, for sure.
Absolutely. So something else when we, I know we've focused a lot on like Europe and plane travel and these kinds of things. But then of course there's like good old American road trips.
Yes.
And I would say a lot of that is going to be pretty similar to when we think about the plane travel, like being really well prepared, having, a bunch of snacks. The good thing is if you're driving somewhere, there's always a Walmart, a Target, even gas stations have options. Again, when we think about like, some high protein snacks like the meat sticks or the hard-boiled eggs or Greek yogurt you'll see even now in like gas stations or especially not rest stops, the truck stops.
Yes.
Like if you have the option to go to a truck stop, you'll probably have more choices because they just tend to, they're bigger and they have more stuff at them. But so you can always kind of replenish that. And then when you're traveling too, I think for me, when we think about food, because obviously I'm always thinking about food. And if you saw our reel about carbohydrates, you saw the pasta that we ate in Italy. Now, I will say I didn't clarify on there. Half of those were my husband's. Those were not all just my meals.
Well,
but I tried all of them.
I mean, absolutely. It looks so good.
And you did not see the gelato either.
Oh, the gelato.
Yeah. But I think, when it comes to travel, I would say, depending on how often you're doing it, if you're traveling every week for work or something like that, you probably need to be more conscientious of what you're eating when you're traveling. But I think first off, it's a slip, don't slide. So if you're going on a special vacation and you're like, I know that this country or this town has like a certain thing I want to try, I say try it. Don't limit yourself in that. But then also think about how can I look for like maybe the flavors of this place, but without, being like off of my like normal plan. So like if you think, okay, I'm going to Argentina, I'm going to get like the beef with the chimichurri.
Yeah.
Great option.
Wow.
And probably some vegetables with it. And I don't even know what their like carb source is, if it's rice or potatoes or what would normally, but like you have some good choices there as far as that. Or, even in Italy, it's like maybe order the second course and not the pasta course, because a lot of those are just going to be meat, and then you can get a vegetable side or things like that. And you can still experience like the flavor, the cuisine, the culture, but in a way that's going to fit within your goals.
Yeah, I always, some patients will go on, like you already mentioned, cruises or other things, and then they come back and they're like, okay, I only gained like 10 pounds that week. That was good. I'm like, whoa, like,
yeah.
Although
I have a lot of patients because obviously being here, we have a lot of people that cruise because we're so close to Port Canaveral, and I've actually had a lot of people that come back and they're like, it wasn't that bad on the cruise.
Yes.
Because they have so many options. Like, yes, there's a buffet, but the buffet has a lot of choices. So if you know what you're doing and you're good about not putting every single thing from the buffet on your plate, like, you'll probably do okay. And some people even are like, yeah, I went on a cruise and I still lost 4 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
I hear that one, too.
I do hear that one, too. Like, wait, what has become of me? When do I start losing weight on vacations?
Right, exactly.
But then you were even saying, so there's travel for fun, there's travel for work. And when you're talking about traveling for like more on the regular probably for work, what is your routine? Some people will utilize the hotel gym. Some people will take walks outside and sightsee as they're getting their walk steps in. It sounds like you didn't take any public transportation of any sort, and you were just like walking this Rome, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But what do you normally do when you go on a trip if there's, you're in America?
I would say I'm not always great about working out. I'm not a big working out person in general, so like I'm not even going to say that I fall off my routine. I sometimes probably am better on trips than I am because there's like a gym. It's like, okay, it's right downstairs. But yeah, I would say like we walked a ton. I mean, like we had like 20,000 steps on our first full day there, plus like a bunch of like elevation change and because it's like hills and all of that. But so I think to me that was like, I'm not going to worry about working out. Our hotel didn't have a gym.
No.
And then, but like, for instance, I was in Chicago last summer and my friend and I like got the city bikes and rented them and like rode along Lake Michigan, which was fun. And it was like physical activity without feeling like, okay, we're going to go down to her apartment complex gym and walk on the treadmill for, or lift weights or do whatever. Like we got outside, we got fresh air, we like enjoyed, summertime in Chicago is the best.
Oh,
so
the best.
I would say to me it's more about, and especially this is for infrequent travel.
Yeah.
It's more about like making movement part of your experience and part of your day.
Yeah.
Now, if you're somebody who's traveling for work and you're in a hotel every week, like then maybe you figure out, okay, what's my hotel routine? Do I have videos that I like to watch? Do I have a subscription? I know like a lot of hotels now have like Pelotons in them. So like, can I do a Peloton workout? Can I do a treadmill workout? Something just to keep up with what you would, normally be doing at home.
Yeah, I mean, I think
you work out when you travel, right?
I love to.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, my favorite machine of all time is the stair climber. That's the only thing I do in the gym. I used to have like a trainer. This is back when I was in Baltimore and lift weights. I haven't done any of that. I walk a lot, but it is flat here, so it's not that.
Yeah, it's not the same.
No, and then the stair climber, because I always feel like I have to like be in shape to do the amount of surgeries I do in a day. So I'm almost like running up the stair climber just to keep my endurance to be able to like just physically do like 7 or 8 cases in a day. It's like, it's a lot. If you think about doing 7 or 8 of anything in a day is a lot, but like doing like, I'm like hyper focused. And then afterwards you almost like just collapse in a heap of exhaustion. But, you know, I think that a lot of the things about what we're saying here, and I would love for us, I always say this, but we got to do it. Like, we got to make some guides that say like, here are some like really easy, really like small footprint in your bag, travel snacks. Here are some great ideas for fitness tips to see the city, but also to, you know, get your, you know, get your heart rate up and all that good stuff.
Resistance bands.
Oh yeah,
are a
great
good
call
one for travel, because they pack up super easy and you can just pull them out and do them in your hotel room or whatever.
That's a great call.
Or even like on the airplane, you know, as long as you're not smacking your neighbor with your arms. But
oh yeah, I used to always travel with resistance bands.
Yeah,
I would always, I would just, this resistance training is just, it's just as great as lifting weights and all of that.
Right. So that's another option. And then one other thing is a lot of people choose to run when they're in a city that they don't know, because it's a good way to see a lot of the city. So if running is in your normal workout routine, and you're in a place that has good options for running, of course, not everywhere. You know, if you're in like, I don't know, downtown Orlando, I don't know what the running situation is like there. But if you're in like a city like Chicago where they have a great trail system, or, you know, get out and go for a walk, a run.
All of it. Just get out there. That's what we're saying here. We want you to get out there and travel. Live life.
Enjoy
life is meant to explore and wonder and do all of those
Struggle
things.
Through language barriers.
Oh, yes. All of the fun that comes. Tiny seats, tiny bathrooms, wet bathrooms,
floor.
wet floors, wet strings. Oh, boy. But at the end of the day, it's awesome. Take the picture, no matter what size you are as well. Wear the clothes. Go out there. Be bold.
Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy it.
Yes.
Seriously.
You deserve it. And if it's something you love to do, you should do it.
I know. Well, I love to travel. Obviously, that's my favorite thing on earth. I would take that any day over any other material thing.
Yeah.
I just love making memories. I love laughing so hard that I'm crying. I probably beat myself a little bit. Maybe I'm responsible for those things on the floor, because I literally sometimes just lose my mind. I just have so much fun. I'm just party of one over here, laughing my butt off.
Yes, I love it.
Oh my God.
We need to travel together. We haven't done that yet.
How many times do I tell you guys out there that Hannah is the most fun ever? I tell you every single podcast, I squeak in there that, did you guys know that this girl gets her hair wet?
I do. I get my hair wet. I also love swimming.
Oh my gosh.
That's a great workout
that
too.
Is
if
a
your
great
hotel
one.
has a pool.
Go for it. And sometimes when I'm in the ocean and I'm kind of treading water, my Apple Watch will even say like, do you want me to record this workout? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
I'm just in place here, kind of floating, kind of moving my arms, but I'm working out.
Always tired after I'm in the ocean. That's exhausting.
It is. To keep yourself from being drifted down by the current, you got to stay right in front of your stuff.
Yeah.
There is some abs that need to be used there.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, as always, check us out at DoctorXDietitian.com or on Instagram at DoctorXDietitian. Send us all your travel tips and any questions that you have, any topics you want to hear from us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.